Hello class, today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over the pretest answers. To get to the pretest, it is under Student Computer Math, the link right there, Fenson Computer Math 2016 pretest. Let's take this 7th period one. So which for loop is wrong? Obviously you guys don't know what for loops are. This has a variable declaration, a conditional, and a incremental. This does not declare the variable I. However, it could still work if it's declared. It has a conditional and it has an incremental. This has a declaration. This has a conditional. Even though it's 7 less than 4, that's perfectly okay. And this decreases. And this has a int I, and then I use I. So I declare I, then I use I, which means you are using an uninitialized variable, which is incorrect. You cannot do that. That will pop up with a compile error. This is wrong. It's a logic error. It'll never run. But that's just like saying if false. If I don't want to do something, never do it. Well, that's completely okay. It's how you comment out a section without commenting out. So that is wrong. What is your first and last name? Nate Fenson. Sure. Doesn't matter. There's no direction stating any other way. You could put Fenson N. You can put Fenson, Nate. Doesn't matter. What does JDK stand for? I just had a good laugh on that one. Just don't know. It's Java Development Kit. What is not a standard Java object? Yeah. Oh, no. Wait. Yes, no, it's not. Graphic, because it's graphics. Graphics G. It's not graphic G. That was a mean one. But technically, that's if I spell something wrong, it pops up with an error message. Which is not array list. Actually, is the list based off of arrays, so it does exist. Which is not a standard string method. Length char at substring equals to char is not. Concat adds to the end. Which question is a good question to ask? This is probably the only one that you guys know. Yes. This is the exact error message I'm getting. What's wrong? That's a good question. How do I fix my code is not a good question. I have no clue. How can I answer that as a teacher? Why does this not work? Well, I don't know what you're talking about because I literally just walked over there. You need to give me more details. Details. What's wrong with this? Same thing. The thingy isn't doing it right. What should I do? Go left. I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Fenson, I have a question. That is nice. I am glad you as a student have a question. Please ask me that question and I might be able to help you. So that is not a good question to ask. May I go to the bathroom? You should write out the pass and just give me the pass. Make it efficient. So the correct question is that. What is not a conditional operator? This negates. This is a addition sign, which is not a conditional operator. This is equals equals. Are they the same thing? Not equals, greater than, or, and less than. The plus sign is not a conditional operator. Conditional is true, false. Plus sign, true plus false does not compute. Which one is not an error in programming? Unassigned variable, we already went for that. Array out of bounds when you're accessing something out of the array. Equals versus equals equals. Equals assigns, equals equals is a conditional operator. De Morgan's is De Morgan's law, which is conditional law, which you learn in math class. So that is not an error in programming. You use this in programming, but it's not an error. No base case causes an infinite loop, and uninitialized variable means you're using a variable that does not exist. No, it doesn't have a value, sorry. Unassigned does not exist. Which is not a variable type. String is an object, not a variable type. It is a type of variable, but it's not a variable type. What's your period? And what is the most advanced loop? This is actually quite tricky, but if you get to the higher level A recursive loop that calls itself is very hard to program. You have one line of code that solves Fibonacci sequence. If you don't know what Fibonacci sequence is, Google it. It's really hard. For loop is more advanced than a while loop, and a do-while loop is more advanced than a while loop. A for loop is more advanced than a do-while loop. Iterative means all three of these. Golden doesn't exist, and fruit loops are yummy. Which if statement is broken? Assume all variables are declared and initialized. This is broken because it assigns a value inside an if statement. That is definitely broken. If true is fine. True does not equal false. It just gives if false, which just never runs. It's not broken. It just never runs. X greater than 3, X is less than 3 or greater than 3 is always false, which is perfectly okay. So assigning a value, and I would click submit, and that's the end of the test. Have a great day. Please realize it's a pretest, so you're going to get questions very similar, like every single question here, just reworded. And that's your mid-test, which is for a grade. So you might want to review this later on. That's why I recorded it, because I am a lazy teacher. Anyways, have a great day. See you later.